Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday night. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope that y'all had a fairly decent Monday. I know Mondays suck, but I hope y'all have had a good one. So good to see all you beautiful people in here. Thank you guys so much for being in here tonight. It means so much to me. Let me go in and say my hellos to everybody. Hello, Evie. I hope you're doing good, darling. It's good to see you. Hello, Mary Jane. Good to see you, love. Hope you're doing good, honey. Hello, Rocket Queen. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Tinsy. Hope you're doing well, darling. Good to see you. Hello, Steffi. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing good. Hello, Miss PJ. It's good to see you, honey. I hope you're feeling better, sweetheart. Hello, hippie grandma. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing good. Hello, Miss Pat. It's good to see you, sweetie. I hope you're doing good, darling. Hope you're feeling better. Been praying for you. Been praying for all of you guys. Hello, Shani B. It's good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing good. Hope your daddy is doing better. Thank you for being here, sweetie. Hello, Ghost Devil. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing good. Thank you guys so much for being in here. Make sure y'all hit that like when y'all come in. It means so much to me. Thank you guys so much. All right, tonight we are going to cover the importance of self-compassion. The importance of self-compassion. Why is this so important to your well-being and mental health? Like, it's important to be compassionate about yourself. Be positive about yourself. So that's what we're going to cover tonight. And hold on a minute. Trendy wants me to open up a cup. Lord have mercy. They started back school today, so it's been a chaotic Monday. Like I said, I hope everybody's doing good. Training, that's not nice. I hope everybody has had a good Monday. But like I said, we're covering self-compassion tonight. I thought it was very important to show compassion towards yourself. I think that will encourage you and motivate you. Encourage you and motivate you and lift your spirits and give you positivity that everybody needs. So I think it was a good topic to go over. Self-compassion, compassion, well-being is our hashtags. Support awareness, mental health, positivity, motivation, encouragement, and be good to yourself. Be good to yourself. All right. Let me pull up my string, guys. All right, let me pull up my information, guys. Well, if my computer wants to do. Hey, Justice Jane, good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing well, darling. Thank you so much for being in here. All right. My computer wants to be something crazy. It's a typical Monday, guys. Lord have mercy. My computer wants to be crazy on me. In just a minute. There it is. Now! Come on! Getting it! All right, there we go. It says, what is self-compassion? This is on verywellhealth.com instead of verywellmind. This is Verywell Health, which is basically the same thing. I use this for a lot. So this says, what is self-compassion? 8 life-changing techniques. It says self-compassion is a practice of being understanding and compassionate towards yourself. It originates from the concept of mindfulness, which involves living in the present moment with openness and curiosity and without judgment. Self-compassion is a way of being kind to ourselves, particularly when we are suffering, feeling inadequate, or feeling like a failure. Read on to learn more about self-compassion, why it's important, and 8 life-changing techniques to practice it. What is self-compassion? Self-compassion comprises 3 components designed to tap into the different ways people emotionally respond to their experiences of pain, suffering, and failure. Number 1 is self-kindness. Instead of harshly judging with negative, shaming self-talk, self-kindness is about shifting towards gentle warmth and acceptance for suffering, pain, or sense of failure. Number 2, common humanity. Sorry about that. It always does that. When failure, suffering, or disappointment hits, being aware that all humans fail and make mistakes and suffer disappointment and loss offers self-compassion for the experience. Number 3, mindful approach. A mindful approach involves looking at what has happened in a curious and observant way without over identifying with the experience, identifying with someone or something else more than is necessary. Hello, White Angel. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing good. Thank you for being in here. When people experience low moments in life, they may meet themselves not with compassion, but with judgment, shame, guilt, and destructive language. Self-compassion aims to counter these negative thought patterns. Why is self-compassion important? Self-compassion is important because cultivating compassion instead of judgment makes it easier to forgive and take care of yourself. Studies indicate this leads to improved health, relationships, and well-being. Learning to recognize suffering and increase levels of kindness and compassion towards yourself in those moments can reduce anxiety and depression. Research indicates it may reduce the intensity of the emotions you're experiencing. Self-compassion versus self-esteem. Self-compassion and self-esteem share commonalities, but they are distinct concepts. Self-esteem is a psychological term that refers to positive or negative perceptions of the self. Studies indicate that high self-esteem does not always connect to having adaptive positive behaviors. Self-compassion is a state of mind or a practice of thinking where you approach how you view your emotional response to events with kindness, gentleness, and warmth instead of judgment, guilt, and shame. Research indicates that self-compassion may improve self-regulation and stress. How to practice self-compassion. 8 life-changing techniques. Anyone can learn how to be more self-compassionate. Here are 8 life-changing techniques to help practice self-compassion. Number 1, check your self-talk. Changing how you speak to yourself, especially during difficult moments, is a part of self-compassion. How to do it. When something bad, painful, or shameful happens, before launching into degrading internal dialogue, stop and think for a moment. How would I speak to a good friend if the same thing happened to them? Turn the kind and encouraging responses towards yourself. Number 2, forgive yourself. When people feel that they have wronged someone, regret, guilt, and shame make moving forward challenging. The self-forgiveness strategy has been shown in studies to significantly lower self-condemnation and psychological distress and significantly improve self-forgiveness. How to do it. First, accept responsibility for any harm you may have caused. Second, acknowledge the regret you feel without overwhelming shame. Third, strive to repair the damage along with recommitting to personal values. Number 3, practice loving kindness. Loving kindness is a meditation practice that turns a person's attention away from negative internal dialogue toward positive thoughts of others. Loving kindness meditation may activate nurturing pathways in the brain and restructure thinking. How to do it: during a 15-minute meditation, spend half of it focusing on others and the world at large, wishing them health, happiness, and well being. Number 4, celebrate your small accomplishments. Achievement is often connected to self esteem. A person's feelings may fluctuate based on performance. Big accomplishments are compromised of smaller ones. It's important to acknowledge the small steps to achieve the goal. How to do it: if you've set a goal to work out 5 days per week, but only went once, acknowledge the goal was attempted and you work towards consistency. Number 5, express gratitude. Studies show that gratitude, which is the awareness of one's benefit in life, may help foster higher levels of psychological well being. How to do it: keep a daily gratitude journal, is one way of focusing on gratitude. Number 6, practice acts of kindness for yourself. Practice acts of kindness for yourself can include how you speak to yourself and practicing self care. How to do it: ask yourself, what do I need right now at this moment? Number 7, be mindful. Mindfulness comes from the Buddhist thought and it is a core component of self compassion. To be mindful means to focus intently on the present moment and observe any thoughts or feelings that arise without judgment. Instead of labeling or defining the moment, just observe it with curiosity. How to do it: take a deep breath and focus on your 5 senses. Number 8, reach out when you need help. Asking for help when you need it is one way of being self compassionate. How to do it: if you reach out for help, you may deepen your connection with people around you. Asking for help can include consulting a mental health professional or healthcare provider to meet health and medical needs. Like I always tell you guys, I'm here for you guys. No matter what, I won't judge you, and please reach out to me. I don't want people to ever feel like they're alone and don't have nobody to talk to. I'm here for each and every one of you guys, and I won't tell a soul because I'm not like that. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm here for each and every one of you guys. I put my junk on the back burner. I've always done that just to be there for you guys. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm here for each and every one of you guys. No questions asked. I might not fully understand, but I can give y'all advice and words of encouragement and just anything to lift you up and make you feel a little bit better, you know. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm here for each and every one of you guys. It says, summary: self-compassion is a practice of being kind and understanding towards ourselves, particularly when we are suffering or feeling inadequate. It is an important component of managing mental health and stress levels. Self-compassion techniques can include self-forgiveness, mindfulness, gratitude, positive language, and celebrating small accomplishments. A word from Very Well: practicing self-compassion may take time and effort. One of the easiest ways to start is to think about how you would treat a good friend. Try to cultivate the same relationship with yourself. See yourself as an inner friend instead of an inner enemy. It says, why is self-compassion important? Self-compassion is important because how you emotionally respond to life makes it easier to both forgive and take care of yourself. Studies indicate self-compassion leads to better health, improved relationships, and improved well-being. What are examples of self-compassion? Examples of self-compassion including changing how you talk to yourself, especially during more difficult moments, using love and kindness meditation, which improves connections with others, and mindful meditation, which brings you into the present moment. Why do I struggle with self-compassion? While self-compassion comes easier to some than others, anyone can learn how to do it. If changing your self-talk is uncomfortable, try journaling and speaking to yourself through the journal as you would a good friend. All right, that's the 8 life-changing techniques from Very Well Health. Hello, Miss Sharon. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing well, darling. Thank you so much for being in here. Let me get a sip of drink, guys. All right, Sharon, honey. Hello, Riff. Good to see you. Can y'all hear me okay? Put a one in chat if y'all can hear me okay. I just want to make sure it's not me, because I'll be pretty upset if I went through that whole thing and nobody told me that they couldn't hear me. All right, this one is the next one. Rocket Queen, can you hear me, honey? Put a one in chat, because if you can hear me, Rocket Queen, honey, or anybody. Okay, thank you, Steffi. I want to make sure, because Miss Sharon said she didn't have no sound, so I wanted to make sure that y'all could hear me okay. Thank you, guys. This is how to practice self-compassion, 8 techniques and tips. This is from positivepsychology.com. Thank you, Rocket Queen, honey. And thank you, Steffi, sweetie. And thank you, Rift brother. I hope you're doing all okay. I hope your family's doing good. It says, have you ever lost your temper at yourself, blamed, and then beat yourself up a little inside for doing something you regret? Maybe you've been harsh with someone only to be much harsher with yourself later. It's easy to be tough on yourself. We tend to do it much more than we realize. But what if there was a better way? When we forgive ourselves, accept our perceived flaws, and show ourselves kindness, we practice self-compassion. It's often a lot harder than it sounds, but with the right techniques, we can learn to make it a habit that sticks. If you ever judge or criticize yourself for no justifiable reason, some of these techniques could be valuable. Some might not be your cup of tea, but others might resonate and come in handy when you least expect it. Read on to find out your practice self-compassion with tips and exercise. Then tell us what works for you. Before you continue, we thought you might like to download, which we're not going to download. But, well, that's great to hear, Rift, brother. We're not going to download it, but y'all are more than, that's why I always try to tell you guys the website, just in case y'all want to go in there and download it. It says you might like to download our 3 self-compassion exercises for free. These detailed science-based exercises will not only help you increase the compassion and kindness you show yourself, but will also give you the tools to help your clients, students, or employees show more compassion to themselves. How to have and show self-compassion. Self-compassion is a positive attitude we can have towards ourselves, and it's also an practically measurable construct, operationally defined and introduced to the positive psychologically literature by Associate Professor Dr. Kristen Neff. It is comprised of 3 separate constructs: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. Having self-compassion means being able to relate to yourself in a way that's forgiving accepting and loving when situations might be less than optimal. We know that is similar to yet less permanent than self love, and that is distinct from self esteem. But how do we show self compassion? Hello, Beachy. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, honey. Self kindness. Self kindness is about showing kindness and understanding towards ourselves when we fail at something or when we hurt, rather than being critical or judging ourselves harshly. When we already feel pain, we can recognize the negative influence of self judgment and treat others with warmth and patience instead. In short, showing self kindness means treating our worth as unconditional, even when we fall short of our own expectations, whether it's through our behaviors or even just our thoughts. Some some examples. Okay, Sharon, that's great, sweetie. Some examples adapted from the self compassion scale or SCS scale give giving include giving yourself the tenderness and care you need when you're going through a tough time, trying to understand and show patience regarding your own perceived personality flaws, and being tolerant of your own shortcomings. Hold on just a second. Lord have mercy. Hold on just a second, guys. Hello, Demetrius. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing well. All right, I'm back, guys. It says common humanity. Being part of something bigger is a persuasive concept in positive psychology literature, and it's long been argued that the need for connections is part of human nature. Having common humanity means viewing our own individual experiences as embedded in the broader human experience, rather than seeing ourselves as isolated or separate from others. Part of this is accepting and forgiving ourselves for our flaws. We aren't perfect, but we show self compassion when we go easy on ourselves for having limitations. Another part of common humanity is realizing that we're not alone in being imperfect or feeling hurt. Rather than withdrawing or isolating ourselves, we appreciate that others feel the same at times. According to the SCS, more specific behaviors would include perceiving your shortcomings as natural aspects of the human condition, viewing your difficulties as a part of life that everyone goes through, and reminding yourself that others also feel inadequate at times when you feel the same. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is seen as the opposite of avoidance or over identification in self compassion theory, and entails acknowledging and labeling our own thoughts as opposed to reacting to them. When we have self compassion, we are aware of our own hurtful thoughts and emotions without blowing up their significance through rumination. Instead, we adopt a positive balance between this over identification at one extreme and completely avoiding painful emotions and experiences at the other. Example SCS items for mindfulness translate into the following behaviors: aiming to keep our feelings in balance when we experience something upsetting, maintaining perspective when we fail at things that are important to us, and adopting our emotions with curiosity and openness when we feel sad. So while the SCS does measure self-compassion as a trait, it can be seen as a balance or a middle way of emotional responding. How can we best practice self-compassion? So it's about maintaining or striving for a happy medium between three theoretical spectra, from self-kindness to self-judgment, from common humanity to isolation, and between avoidance and over-identification, with mindfulness as the happy medium. We also see some key themes popping up that you might already be familiar with: empathy, kindness, forgiveness, caring, tenderness, and various synonyms for acceptance and non judgment. But because so much of our mental activities is ingrained or instinctual, it can take some conscious efforts at first to start practicing self compassion. How to start? Dr. Kristen Neff herself notes that because of our habitual responses to hurt and negative emotions, getting started can often be a drastic change of perspective. And because we're actually trying to adopt new approaches rather than create positive emotions, it takes practice. Self compassion is a practice of goodwill, not good feelings. With self compassion, we mindfully accept that the moment is painful and embrace ourselves with kindness and care and response, remembering that imperfection is a part of the shared human experience. With that in mind, we'll cover some techniques and tips for practicing this goodwill before sharing some resources, affirmations, and approaches to help you along the way. 8 tips and techniques for practicing self compassion. There are a lot of specific exercises available online that will help you practice self compassion in a way that suits you. We'll cover some of these in more depth in our resource section, but most have the same general approach. Treat yourself as you treat a friend. One good place to start is by thinking about how you would treat others that you care about. So while we can't always take away others' pain, we can validate its existence and provide support to help them get through it and grow. In this respect, number 1, let yourselves make mistakes. Self-kindness and common humanity tap into two separate but related ideas. We're human, but A, so is everybody else, and B, that's okay. Rather than interpreting our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors as who we are, we can let ourselves off the hook when we might do the same for others. If a friend gets lazy and doesn't answer your phone call, you probably won't instantly assume they're a bad person. Giving yourself permission to be human once in a while is one way to accept your flaws and remind yourself that you're not alone in being imperfect. Number 2, care for yourself as you treat others. Closely related to the previous tip, this is about being understanding and empathetic toward yourself. If a friend is feeling down, hurt, or upset, you might physically pat them on the back or hold their hand. Neff describes these ways of tapping into our own caregiving system to release oxytocin, which has beneficial cardiovascular effects, along with tender, forgiving language, even using terms of endearment to yourself like darling or sweetheart. These gestures can lead us to feeling self-kindness, even if we're initially reluctant. Try not to go overboard with the endearing terms if it feels too odd, of course. Becoming more self-aware. Other techniques relate to become more self-aware and tapping into our self-talk. Compared to beating ourselves up for beating ourselves up, becoming aware of our internal narratives is a positive starting point for changing our self-talk. Number 1, use releasing statements. Maybe you've never been a big fan of positive affirmations. Maybe they don't feel natural or you believe they don't quite reach your inner critic. at a subconscious level. If that's the case, you may try what is colloquially, don't know that word, but I try, referred to as releasing statements. These are closely related, if not equivalent, to many exercises in self forgiveness and tap into the mindfulness concept of detached non judgment. When you catch yourself thinking a negative thought like, I'm such a horrible person for getting upset, try turning it around and releasing yourself from the feeling. Instead, try, it's okay that I felt upset. Number 2, try self acceptance. This means embracing your own perceived shortcomings as well as your character's strengths. Self compassion is about not overinflating these shortcomings into a definition of who we are, rather, thoughts and feelings are behaviors and states. Number 3, practice mindfulness. Harvard HealthBeat 2019 suggests that mindfulness practices are a good way to center ourselves in the moment. Not only is mindfulness one of the self compassion's core constructs, but a lot of exercises such as yoga and deep breathing can be used anytime, anywhere. Kristen Neff also recommends guiding, nurturing meditations, including body scans and a short self compassion break. Number 4, try not to judge yourself too quickly. Another tip from DiPiero is to stop assuming you'll behave a certain way. It's easy to assume things like, I get really grumpy and antisocial on flights, when sometimes precludes the possibility that you'll act a different way. This is once again about treating yourself as you would others and just a future focus way to give yourself the benefit of doubt. Hello, Digger Duck. Good to see you, love. I hope you're doing well, darling. Says regaining perspective. From here, we can also zoom out to remind ourselves once more that we're connected to others, that we're a part of a much bigger picture, common humanity, and adjust our focus accordingly. Here are some example tips. Number 1, let go of the need for an outside validation. Author Danny DiPurio of Stay Positive, the Positively Present Guide to Life, suggests that lots of our negative thinking come from how others perceive us. If we're beating ourselves up for eating something, for instance, a lot of that self-directed anger stems from social pressures, like the pressure to look a certain way or maintain a certain weight. Choosing not to tie our happiness to outside influences can thus be an act of self-kindness, which is a much larger knock-on effect. If this idea is interesting to you, there's more in this self-reliance article. Reaching out to others, this might be, which is number 2, this might sound like the opposite of above, but in fact, this technique is more about placing your feelings in context. When we talk with others, we realize that we're not alone in feeling pain at different times. It's an important part of reaffirming our sense of connectedness, reframing our perceived problems within the bigger picture, and building social support networks that are invaluable to well-being. So what does Dr. Kristen Neff herself say about self-compassion? And I'm going to play this for you guys because this is a lot of really good information. It's not massively long, but this is Dr. Kristen Neff, the 3 components of self-compassion. Now, if y'all can't hear it, let me know and I will replay it. It's only like 5 minutes long. It's not really long, but it's really some good information that is not included in, I kind of dug deep, so it's not included in the information that I read. So y'all let me know if y'all can hear it when I start playing it, okay, guys?
So how do I define self-compassion then? I really don't see a
Y'all hear it?
difference between compassion for self and others. I define them the exact same way. I argue that self-compassion has the components of a sense of kindness, care, understanding for yourself versus judgment, a sense of common humanity versus feeling isolated and cut off from others, and then a sense of mindfulness, right? Being aware of the suffering that's occurring versus over-identification, which again, I'll just clarify this in one moment. Let's go through each one separately. Okay, so self-kindness versus self-judgment. Kindness is more than just hearts and flowers, okay? Kindness has a very active component to it. It means when you're kind to yourself, you really want to comfort yourself when you're suffering. You want to alleviate your suffering. You want to soothe yourself. Okay, it's a very active stance where I want to do whatever I can to help myself feel as good as possible in this moment. Okay. Common humanity, really framing one's own experience in light of the common human experience. It's very funny if I were to ask any of you, are you a human being? Are you a human being? Yes, of course. Is everyone else a human being? Yes, of course. Does everyone else suffer? Yes, of course. You would say that logically. But in the moment when you just blew it at work, or you had someone reject you, or something really bad happens in your life, what happens non-rationally is that we get very egocentric. We feel like, why me? This somehow has happened to me. I'm the only one who's messed up. I'm the only one who's going through that difficult time. And we feel really cut off from others. It's as if somehow when things go wrong, that's abnormal. This is not supposed to be this way. Something has gone wrong. But is that the case? Has anything gone wrong? Is anything abnormal? No. That's what life is. Life goes wrong. No one in here signed a contract before you got, born in this world saying, I would be perfect, my life would be perfect. And yet it's like, this is not the plan I signed up for. I'm pissed off about it, right? That's how we react. The problem with that, and there's a lot of problems with that, but one of the main things is when we feel isolated and cut off from others, physiologically, that's very frightening. If you think evolutionarily, one of the worst things that can happen to us is to be isolated from the group, because then we aren't safe. And it's interesting, this aspect of well-being, I don't think has been studied enough. This sense of, can we feel connected to others in our suffering, or do we feel isolated from others in our suffering? And I can tell you in the workshops I've conducted, especially the 8-week ones, at the end I asked people what they got out of this the most. Almost every single person says common humanity. I realize it's not just me. It's not just me who judges myself. It's not just me who suffers like this. Very important to remember that this is the human experience. This is how things are supposed to be. Okay, nothing has gone wrong. Yes, it's painful, but it's normal. It's natural. And then this is where the mindfulness comes in. You have to be aware of your suffering in order to give it compassion. So mindfulness allows you not only to notice your suffering, but very important, and we'll talk about this more, to be with your suffering as it is. We don't like to be around suffering. If we could just get rid of pain, we'd do it. And we have lots of psychological mechanisms to avoid that, again, which I'll be talking about in a little bit. So self-compassion says, wow, pain is occurring. Can I turn toward that? Can I be with that? And you actually need to do that to be able to give yourself the caring and support you need. All right. Now, some people do say, come on, you have to notice your suffering. Isn't it like blindingly obvious I'm suffering? But it's often really not. The pain caused by self-judgment, I think in some ways that's some of the worst pain all of us experience. Constant, niggly pain. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this enough. I blew it. I'm this, I'm that. But often we are so lost in the role of self-critic that we don't really stop to realize, oh my God, this is really, really hurting. And in some ways it feels more comfortable to be the self-critic, because at least the self-critic isn't the person that messed up. The self-critic knows you messed up. The part of you that feels really, vulnerable and insecure and a failure. Often we don't give that sort of side of the process as much attention. Okay, and then also very important, when things go wrong in our lives, very often we go straight into problem-solving mode. It's like, there's a problem. I don't want there to be a problem. Need to fix the problem, immediately. And what happens is we go straight into problem solving mode and don't stop to, again, turn towards the suffering and say, whew, this is really hard. This is difficult. I need a little care and compassion to get me through this. Then we really aren't at our best and our most psychologically stable when we go towards trying to fix that problem. Okay, so it's actually something you have to remind yourself to do before going straight into fixing problems, to just acknowledge and validate how difficult the situation is.
Yeah, I think she had a lot of useful information, and that's actually from Dr. Kristen Neff is who that was. So I guess I don't know if she's a psychiatrist. I have no idea, but she's actually a doctor. So I was like, okay, well that's some good information. Dr. Kristen Neff. I don't know if she's a psychiatrist or a counselor. I have no idea, but she's a doctor. So I was like, okay, that's like, 5.5 minutes. And that was some useful, really useful information, I think. It says Kristen Neff's step-by-step guide to self-compassion. It says self-compassion step-by-step is Kristen Neff's audio course on developing the skills and techniques for the everyday practice of the same. Over 6 sessions, it covers approaches that you can use in the moment, immerse practices, and guided self-compassion meditation that draw on the theory and its applications. Topics covered include how to be easier on yourself, while we often resist showing self-compassion, the distinctions between self-compassion and self-esteem, dealing with difficult feelings more adaptively, and self-motivating positively rather than criticizing yourself. Let's see. All right, this says 13 plus useful resources. You'll find a lot of useful resources on self-compassion if you're looking for exercises, script, or more theory as a therapist. Apart from the extensive blog posts on topics like mindfulness, compassion, and the self, you also find ample self-compassion worksheets and workbooks. 4+ websites. If you know of other key sites that we haven't yet included, please let us know in the comments, because there's also contain their own wealth and helpful links. You'll find plenty to browse here. It says selfcompassion.org. Let's see. chrisgermer.com. centerformsc.org. Like I said, y'all are more than welcome to go on there. And just kind of talks about the websites. That's why I'm trying to kind of speed through them a little bit. And then other websites on self-compassion can be found in abundance at the resource page of the selfcompassion.org. Let's see. Misconceptions about the self-compassionate voice. What comes to your mind when you hear cultivating a self-compassionate inner voice? Many people think of selfishness over optimism, self-pity, and passively, living in a modern world in which perfectionism is often the norm rather than exception. Being compassionate with the self feels very unnatural to most and triggers such negative beliefs. Here's an overview of what scientific research shows in relation to these beliefs. Selfishness. Although self-compassion is often mistaken for selfishness, Marshall and colleagues 2020 illustrate that higher levels of self-compassion are associated with more giving behaviors and attitudes. This is because by being kind to ourselves, we operate from a state of inner balance, which renders us better equipped to meet others' needs. Sugarcoating. A self-compassionate inner voice is also mistaken for an overly optimistic, even unrealistic pers- perspective on the self. On the contrary, the curious and friendly tone of the self-compassionate voice helps one recognize and accept weaknesses while providing constructive feedback for self-improvement. Number three is self pity. It is not common for the self compassionate voice to be mistaken for self pity. However, according to Neff and colleagues 2005, higher self compassion is associated with having greater mastery oriented motivation and curiosity and desire to develop skills and master tasks. Passively, passively. I'm probably saying that wrong, guys, but it is also often mistaken for encouraging passivity. However, following a higher mastery orientated motivation is not surprising that research also shows self-compassion is associated with less procrastination and more time devoted to self-improvement. Four misconceptions about the self compassionate voice. Number one is selfish. Being compassionate with ourselves first allows us to take better care of others. Number two, sugarcoating. It does not blind us to the way life is. Instead, it supports a perspective of compassion in response to pain. Number three is self pitiful. Instead of wallowing, it allows us to take a third party perspective on our lives. Number four is passive. Instead of making people complacent, it increases motivation and time spent on self improvement. What are self compassion affirmations and are they valid? We've looked at positive daily affirmations elsewhere on the site and we examined that their roots lie in self affirmation theory and global self efficiency. In a nutshell, we can use positive affirmations, which I've talked about a couple weeks prior, to keep up goal narratives for ourselves about ourselves that is relevant to our self identity. With this in mind, let's look at two different types of ways that we can use affirmations to become more self compassionate. Using affirmations to motivate. In this respect, some self compassion affirmations may be slightly different from the positive daily affirmations we're used to. Most people already know about affirmations of values, things we hold meaningful and personally important, and using affirmations to broaden our sense of self concept. In contrast, you'll find that some example self compassion affirmations are more focused on the three components mindfulness, common humanity, and self kindness than they are on our ability to adapt to different situations. They may be more goal focused and designed to motivate, sparking our intention to charge. For example, I'm going to be kind to myself rather than I'm a patient and understanding mom to my kids, or I'm going to treat myself the way I would treat my very best friend. Instead of my body is amazing just the way it is, and I accept myself this way. If you're interested in finding out about the validity of this kind of self compassion affirmation, self talk in a goal setting context, you might find this paper on hope theory very helpful. Succinctly, positive self talk, like I can do this, is common in high hope people. It's kind of agenic thinking, which helps motivate us towards our goals when we have come across obstacles. Goals like becoming more self compassionate, for instance, using affirmations to challenge your inner critic. Practicing affirmations can also be useful if you're hoping to replace the negative self talk we've referred to earlier with more self kindness or often habitual tendencies to blame. criticize, or put ourselves down can't be changed unless we try to catch ourselves in the act, and only then can we reframe them. Replacing negative automatic thoughts with self-compassionate internal dialogue helps us deal with our inner critic, replacing it with empathetic self-direct talk. We can think of these more like actual content of self-compassion. It's as easy as replacing your negative self-talk with mindful recognition of your feelings and giving yourself a caring, loving response rather than self-criticizing. So it says 11 compassionate affirmations to practice. Try these if you're a believer in the power of affirmations and use them to replace self-criticism or remind yourself to be kind to number one. Number one, I accept the best and worst aspects of who I am. Number two, changing is never simple, but it's easier if I stop being hard on myself. Number three, my mistakes just show that I'm growing and learning. Number four, it's okay to make mistakes and forgive myself. Number five, I am free to let go of others' judgments. Number six, it's safe for me to show kindness to myself. Number seven, I deserve compassion, tenderness, and empathy from myself. Number eight, I release myself with forgiveness from today and move forward with self-love tomorrow. Number nine, every day is a new opportunity. I won't let self-doubt or judgment hold me back from the future. Number 10, I forgive myself and accept my flaws because nobody is perfect. Number 11, I'm not the first person to have felt this way, and I won't be the last, but I'm growing. 5 more of these from here, the source, and Louise Hay's official site, which inspired them. How mindfulness scripts help in practicing self-compassion. Mindfulness scripts are useful tools for therapists and individuals. They form a key part of the Mindful Self-Compassion Program, MSC, developed by Dr. Christopher Germer and Kristen Neff. The basic premise of mindfulness scripts it that sometimes a step-by-step walkthrough is helpful when we're exploring our present moment experiences. It's a part of a broader self-compassion practice that can be useful guidance for cultivating a state mindfulness, moment by moment awareness of our thoughts and feelings through a gentle, nurturing lens. Mindfulness scripts help in practicing self-compassion by taking us through painful emotions and feelings in a detached and accepting way. Available as videos, written scripts, body scans, soundtracks, and more, they help us become attuned to the painful feelings, which often spark self-judgment and unconstructive self-talk. Identify, label, and accept our emotions. Recognize them as transient and fleeting and realize that they will pass. Investigate them and understand their causes within reason and release ourselves from the need to control them. If you're ready for more hands-on techniques in mindfulness, then you can use your therapy clients. See how our Mindfulness X program can equip you as a helping practitioner. Are there proven benefits to writing a self-compassion letter? Given that letter writing is one very specific exercise for practicing self-compassion, there is unsurprisingly a dearth of studies on this precise topic. But what do we know about expressive handwriting letters? Emotions and the nature of self-compassion suggests that they may have some benefits. The impacts of expressive writing. Self-compassion letters are one written form of emotional expression, or at least this applies to our initial recall of a particular emotion that requires to disinhabit and, of course, write about emotional experiences like the painful feeling that sometimes triggers self-criticism. And here's what we know. Other forms of writing therapy, such as journal writing, have been related to feelings of greater psychological well-being. and reduce numbers of stress-related doctor visits and enhance positive effect. Express writing promotes self-distancing and helpful process of emotional regulation that helps us construct meaning. Sorry, guys. From our experiences. As an example, why did you lose your temper? Why did I lose my temper? And it's considered helpful as a coping strategy for stressful life events. Both self-compassion and expressive writing have roots in alleviating worry and the negative tendency of rumination too, which makes letter writing a particularly logical exercise in the former. So if you feel that these sound like benefits which might help you, it may be worth trying to put your thoughts down as words. True, it may not feel natural at first, but some things take practice. See, 13 journal prompts. I'm just going to go over these kind of quickly. Try some of these self-compassion journals if you're feeling a bit of a writer's block. Try applying each of these 3 self-compassion constructs in your journal, and below you'll see how they can follow a logical sequence. Mindfulness. Start with approaching whatever emotional experience you've been through with balanced awareness, curiosity, and detached interest. Acknowledge, but don't magnify how you felt, thought, or what you did while trying not to judge yourself for what was essentially a human reaction. Please do tweak these examples, which are deliberately generic and intended only as a guide. Number 1, I felt angry, upset, impatient because of. Number 2, I realize now that when happened, I reacted in a moment and I felt regret, embarrassed, ashamed, etc. afterwards. Hello, Digger Duck. Good to see you, love. Number 3, stepping back from it now, accept that I was thinking hurtful, frustrated, annoying thoughts when. Number 4, as I reflect on my behavior earlier, I acknowledge that my reaction to was driven by feelings of disappointment, fear, doubt, etc. Number 5, looking back now, I notice my thoughts and feelings from earlier today. At the time, the situation made me feel. Common humanity. As you recall the experience you began writing about, move the topic toward common humanity. Doing this means acknowledging first and foremost that you're not the only one experiencing negative emotions. Adapted from the inspired by Kristen Neff's official self-compassionate journal exercise, try to take these both general mindsets as well as sentence starters. Everybody feels anger, pain, jealousy at some point or another. The situation was a complicated one, and most people find themselves feeling frustrated in tricky situations like that. Nobody's perfect or immune from thinking the occasional fearful, irrational, defensive thought. Self-kindness. Go easy on yourself for this part and write to yourself as you would to someone you care about deeply, having reminded yourself that you're not superhuman or immune from painful feelings. This is the perfect space to be comforting and gentle. As the last few sentence starters show, you can write using second-person pronouns if it helps. Number 1, I forgive myself for feeling as upset, hurt, separated, etc. as I did earlier. Number 2, that wasn't my last chance to practice more patience, understanding, empathy, etc. Number 3, I made a mistake, slipped a little today, and that's fine. Next time a situation like that comes around, I'll. Number 4, it's not something worth dwelling on. Tomorrow you can react with more concern, tenderness, goodwill, etc. Number 5, you'll understand why you responded that way, and it's okay. Next week you can make up for it by stopping to listen, showing that you care, etc. A take-home message. Self-compassion is refreshing in its premise and initially takes conscious effect even to become aware of our mental processes. But most worthwhile things do require practice We've looked at some various techniques for having and showing self-compassion on a regular basis. So if letter writing isn't your thing, hopefully affirmations or journaling will help. There's no reason why you can't get creative with your own techniques and tricks. Either where sure you we're sure you can think of something. Will little self-compassion exercises, flashcards work for you? How about a blog or creative reminder to be kind to yourself? What has worked for you in the past that you might want to tweak? Hey, Truth Seeker. Good to see you, love. Love you too, honey. Hope you're doing all right. Like I said, I hope everybody's had a wonderful Monday. It's so good to see everybody and the little crowd that we have. Thank you guys so much for being in here. It's not all about the numbers. It's about the people that are in here and showing support. So it means so much to me. Thank you guys so much for being in here. I'm sorry, Truth Seeker, honey. You can message me anytime you need somebody to talk to, sweetie. Here's how to actually be kinder to yourself. Self-compassion isn't silly, and it can make life challenges so much more manageable. I think that picture is really pretty. So since childhood, chances are you've been expected to be nice to others and treat them how you want to be treated, presumably with kindness and respect. But why do so many people, and myself included, struggle to apply this golden rule to themselves? I'm sorry, sweetie. We talk a lot about self-compassion at Self, S-E-L-F. It's self.com if y'all need to know. Hello, Criminal Mag. Good to see you, love. I hope you're doing well, darling. It says how it can help you move past your mistakes. For example, improve your relationship with food and movement and accept yourself overall. But being kind to yourself, especially when you feel like a failure, isn't often easier said than done. Instead, the default for many of us is to be your own worst critic. You always mess up. Everybody else has their life together except you. You're not good enough. Sound familiar? That little mean voice in your head is not your friend, and it can hold you back from positive change and inner peace. Adia Gooden, PhD licensed clinical psychologist and host of the Unconditionally Worthy podcast, says, tells self, it's hard when the inner critic is so loud that it tunes out the wiser, more compassionate part of ourselves, which really gets activated when we're talking to a friend or offering them kindness in a way that comes really easily, Dr. Gooden says. Learning to drown out self-criticism by turning up the volume on the kinder inner wisdom isn't easy, but it's worth it. You might think that being hard on yourself will make you more humble, say, or that it'll motivate you to be better, but it actually tends to work against you, according to Dr. Gooden. In fact, 2019 research found that having self-compassion can buffer the mental health consequences or self-criticism, such as stress and depressive symptoms. And one study published in 2009 suggests that people with high levels of self-compassion may be more likely to feel happy and optimistic about the future, even in situations of perceived failure and rejection. So how do you actually show your self-kindness in a way that doesn't feel cliche or inauthentic? When self-compassion doesn't come naturally, consider these practical ways to give yourself a break. Number 1, confront your inner critic. We all have one, but you may not even recognize when yours is infiltrating your thoughts. The first step towards showing yourself more kindness is observing the toxic voice in your head. Andrea Bonjour, PhD licensed clinical psychologist and host of the Baggage Check podcast, Tell self. Whenever you start comparing yourself to others, say or blaming yourself for a work mistake or some other mishap, stop for a second and think about what you're actually saying to yourself. For some people, negative self-talk is so persuasive that it's like the water they're swimming in, Dr. Bonjour says. They don't recognize that it's even there, whether it's negative body image or just being harsh in other ways. Simply noticing that your inner bully is saying it and even acknowledging it by writing it down or typing it, a journaling alternative like voice notes, puts you in a better position to begin to challenge and quiet those thoughts, she adds. Number 2, treat yourself like you would a close friend or your childhood self. Let's say your best friend is feeling insecure after a bad day at work. Would you call them a failure? Tell them they're incompetent at their job? Insist that they don't deserve promotion after one mistake? Chances are you'll never talk to your friends or family the way you may talk to yourself. So why don't you deserve the same treatment? A good rule of thumb when it comes to practicing self-kindness, according to Dr. Gooden, if you wouldn't say it to a friend who's going through a rough time, don't say it to yourself either, which I strongly agree. When someone you care around slips up or makes a poor taste comment, for example, you probably respond with compassion and understanding versus telling them you can't believe they did that and or that everyone probably thinks they suck. Try to do the same for yourself, Dr. Gooden suggests. Now, if you're thinking in a skeptical but blunt friend who keeps it real even if it isn't always so nice, then this tactical may not work as well for you. Instead, Dr. Gooden recommends another self-compassion strategy. Consider your inner child as you practice positive self-talk. You can hang up a photo of your innocent 5-year-old self on your mirror or set it as your phone background and remind the person that they're going to be okay, for example, or that they don't deserve those unkind words, and neither do you. We know babies are unconditionally worthy of care and respect, Dr. Gooden says. They have not accomplished anything yet, but that doesn't make any of us think that they are unworthy. With practice, viewing yourself through a similar supportive lens can help you lose the negative self-talk, she adds. Number 3, make mindfulness a part of your daily routine. Mindfulness is ultimately about checking in with yourself and how you're feeling without judgment, which is a great way to foster self-kindness, according to Dr. Gooden. One of the ways we can be unkind to ourselves is by ignoring what we're feeling physically and emotionally and just telling ourselves to push through, she says. Even the acknowledgement of these feelings shows a level of kindness. Yoga classes, meditation apps, and deep breathing exercises are popular ways to practice mindfulness, but they're not the only option. Sometimes grounding yourself in the present can be as simple as paying attention to your body's sensations, maybe before, during, or after a meal, or sitting with the discomfort of your emotions and acknowledging them head on. In whatever form, paying more attention to your inner world without judging yourself is an act of self-compassion in itself, Dr. Gooden reiterates. Number 4, remind yourself that mistakes are part of being human, and dwelling on them won't do you any favors. It says it can be helpful to acknowledge your mistakes in order to move forward, but ruminating about the perceived failure will just keep you stuck, Dr. Gooden says. The reality is that to err is only human. It's not preventable, which is why learning to accept your missteps and move on is much more useful strategy. To make that acceptance a bit easier, Dr. Gooden suggests trying to separate your errors from your work. Just because that one date didn't go as well as you planned doesn't mean you're undateable. And more importantly, it definitely doesn't mean you don't deserve love. Mistakes are something that all of us experience. And it's important to remember that they don't make us unworthy, Dr. Gooden says. We're still worthy of love, of care, and of taking up space and being alive. And if you're someone who thinks lambasting yourself is a strong motivator, the evidence is not on your side. People often feel like criticizing themselves is going to help them overcome failure, Dr. Gooden adds, but research suggests it can actually destroy your self-esteem and prevent you from reaching your goals. Number 5, make sure to focus on positive stuff too. The human brain has a natural tendency to fixate on the bad. For instance, you'll probably remember that criticism from your parents more than praise for your many accomplishments. That one embarrassing comment you made at the party more than the fun you had overall. In order to counteract this negativity bias, it can be helpful to put your bad moments into perspective by consciously focusing on the positive. If you're down on yourself for letting a friend down, for example, you can think about or write down 3 times you were there for that person. Or if you can't think of anything positive about the situation you're fixating on, you can get more general and note a few things you're grateful for in your life to help shift your focus away from the negative, says Dr. Bonjour. Positive affirmations are another way to challenge the negative narrative in your head and remind yourself of your worth. It might feel silly at first, but after a while, when you start repeating them, you begin to recognize maybe this does make sense. Maybe I am worthy as anybody else, and I deserve to give myself some grace that I would automatically give to other people, Dr. Bonjour says. If you're not sure where to start, try some optimistic yet realistic phrases like, I have what I need to succeed, or I'm in charge of how I feel, and right now I choose peace. Number 6, if self-affirmations aren't for you, do an activity you enjoy. If complimenting yourself or giving yourself a pep talk feels unnatural and script-like, that's totally okay. Instead, Dr. Gooden suggests replacing your negative thinking with an activity that gets you out of your head and leaves you feeling soothed. For example, if you're drawn to nature, you can go outside on a leisurely walk and tune into your surroundings. If you prefer to express yourself with art, maybe try an adult coloring book, or maybe you love to blast a throwback playlist and dance around your living room with abandon. What you do doesn't matter so much as long as it allows you to shift your focus away from self-criticism. Generally, doing things that ground you in the present moment can be very helpful to give you some relief from all the mind activity, Dr. Gooden explains. Number 7, and this is the final one on the self website. Remember that self-compassion is not selfish. Self-kindness involves making yourself a priority. And no, that doesn't make you a selfish person. I think many of us, women especially, believe on some level that we should be there for others first and foremost, and that every minute we spend taking care of ourselves, this takes away from helping other people, Dr. Bonjour says. However, the reality is that treating yourself with compassion will only make it easier to be physically and emotionally present from your loved ones, she adds. It's kind of like a muscle. The more you exercise kindness and care in your own life, the more you have the physical, mental, and emotional strength to show up as your best self for others. That said, you don't need a reason, even one as beautiful as wanting to be there for others, to be kinder to yourself. You, as much as anyone else, deserve kindness for the simple fact that you're alive. Give yourself a break. Take good care of yourself. Things may not go the way you want, but you still deserve compassion. We all do. I think that's very important, guys. Very important to be kind to yourself. And I think that's also very positive. Like we talked about some negativity, which they was trying to say the importance of negativity. But we talked about some negativity, but I think we we kept on talking about more positivity. So you take a negative, kind of talking down on yourself, and you turn it into a positive and try to talk good about yourself. And I know it's easier said than done, guys. Trust me, I do. When you're fighting with yourself, I know it's easier said than done. But you just have to try your very best, guys. You have to try your very best. You have to try your very best and think positive and, try to be motivated and try to be encouraged, because I think that is very important to be in the good in the world, like I always talk about, to weed out all the evil. If you're hard on yourself, that's kind of part. Now, I'm not saying that it's evil, but that's being hard on yourself. So that's kind of being the bad in a way. That's being bad on yourself. It's being hard on yourself is being bad on yourself. So if you want to be, good, you want to be a good person in the world, you're going to have to try to work on being good to yourself so you can show the goodness in the world that only you can show. Like everybody is their own person. So everybody is showing their own goodness in the world. Be the good in the world. Whatever you do, be good, be positive. You know, lift people up, motivate them. That's what the channel is all about, guys. And like I said, we might be small in numbers because we're just a um, little itty bitty goldfish in a humongous fishbowl. But we can be mighty, guys. We can be mighty. Don't y'all lose the hope. You know, don't lose the hope, guys. You'll have to. We have to be strong for one another. I know it's easier said than done, but we have to lift each other up. That's what it's all about. We got to stay positive. We got to lift each other up. We got to be there for one another. We have to support one another. You know. Exactly. Exactly, Digger Duck, honey. Says being good brings people together. Exactly. And if you're negative people stick kind of flock to each other. Positive people flock to each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying flock. But you know what I'm saying? Like negative, you see more negative people or drama filled people. I'm just saying they kind of stay that way, but they try to bring it towards the people that are not involved with negativity or drama. They try to bring it towards that, but that's not. That's why we kill them with the kindness type thing, or you know what I mean. And we show them the positivity, and they don't like it. You know, I'm not saying things are happening. I'm just saying that if by chance it does happen, you kill them with kindness, and you be positive, and that's going to go a long way, and they might change their tune, and they might decide, well, they're 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 a real person, and they're real true, and they're actually good people. So if they can do it, then I could try to do it. And I don't want to be this person no more. You know what I mean? It's all about self-compassion. Learn to be compassionate to yourself. If you can be compassionate to others, then you can try your very best to be compassionate to yourself, guys. You know, that's also part of being the good in the world. We want to be the good in the world. We want to be peaceful. We want to be positive. We want to be motivational. We want to be encouragement. You know, I don't think I know what y'all are talking about, Miss Sharon and Truth Seeker. I'm trying to read it, guys. What case are you talking about, Sharon and Truth Seeker? I'm kind of curious. I know I don't talk about true crime, but I'm just kind of curious because Rebel probably already knows it. But I'm just kind of curious what y'all are talking about because I'm trying to read the comments, but I don't see nothing. Or maybe I'm overlooking it. I think it's just been a long Monday for a lot of people, and a lot of people might still be at work or they're in bed to go to work. Yeah, I'm Truth Seeker. What are you talking about, honey? What case are you talking about? Because Rebel might already have Chris Watts. It's called Chris Watts. Is that what it's called? Okay, I'll have him look it up if he don't already have. The Nightmare Before Christmas on video. That was a positive moment. Absolutely. Absolutely, Digger Duck. I love The Nightmare Before Christmas. I love The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's one of my favorite movies. Yeah, I will definitely have him look at it. Chris Watts. I will have him definitely look at it. If he has, like I said, he probably already knows about it. But, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, like, y'all know I don't, every now and then I do true crime, but I don't know a whole lot about it. So, but I'm just trying to lift y'all spirits up and, just say self-compassion is very important. Everybody should have it. If we're going to be compassionate towards others, then we definitely need to be compassionate towards ourselves. And I know that's easier said than done. And I'm one of those people too that have a humongous heart and will do anything for anybody. But myself, I'm extremely hard on. And I know a lot of people that are like that. I mean, that's just how I am. So, like, it's very hard. But if I can do it or I can try to do it, I know you guys can. You know, you just got to try your very best. And can't never could do nothing. So you can't say you can't. You got to at least try. You got to at least try, guys. Yeah, I wish I mean I'm just being blunt with y'all. I've been real with y'all. I have no reason to. I wish other people would see it as well, Miss Sharon. But he does. We need our spirits lifted, so we come here to share. Thank you, Miss Sharon, honey. I mean, there's a lot of people that are not in here tonight, but like I said, it's Monday night, so they might be in bed going to work the next morning. They're busy doing other things, but they're definitely missed and they're thought of when we don't see them in here, you know, because we're all kind of like a family and we get close to one another, you know. So just know that I love each and every one of you guys, and I love the people that are not in here right now, but you're fine, Jennifer B, honey. I love the people that are not in here right now, and I just know that, I think about them often. I pray for each and every one of you guys, you know. How are you, Jennifer B, darling? So good to see you, love. You're welcome, Sharon, honey. But just lift each other up, and like I said, like I was just saying a few seconds ago, if we can have compassion for other people and be the good in the world, it kind of all starts with us. We have to start somewhere, so we have to start with us first. You know, we got to be true to ourselves and be self-compassionate, be compassionate towards ourselves, and show that compassion that we have towards ourselves out to the other people. Be compassionate to those people as well, because we know we have compassion towards them. You know what I mean? But have compassion towards ourselves as well, so we can be all the way around. Um, be the good all the way around, through and through. You know what I mean? So it's I know it's easier said than done because a lot of us can be our each other's worst critics because I mean we're human. We make mistakes. We're not perfect, you know. No, I mean I don't think I've never claimed to be perfect. I know a lot of people haven't, but there's some, you know, they think they are, but you know what I mean? But it happens. I hope you feel better, Truth Seeker, sweetheart. But yeah, I was just gonna make this live short and sweet because I know, like I said, we don't have a lot of people watching, but I'm very thankful for the people that are in here. I know, Truth Seeker, that broke my heart. That's just so sad. That's just so sad. It breaks my heart. All them precious babies, and they don't have. But they're okay. That like I'm kind of sidetracked. But like I messaged, you know, like I sent a little comment underneath those babies. Okay, those babies are missing, and they've been missing for some time, or whatever the case may be. But okay, those babies bound to have a name because how could they prove that they're missing if they don't have a name? And a lot of them are over the age of 1 or 2. So if they were born, you know, they're bound to have a name, not just John Doe or Jane Doe. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think that's very sad, but I pray for all them babies and hopefully they're found. Digger Deck says, the future is not ours to see, but we can make it the future. Ugh. We can make it better for the future. Exactly. You're fine, True Seeker. I was just, I know all these beautiful people in here. Like I said, thank you guys so much. Truly, it means a lot to me. We're small, but we're mighty, guys. Y'all just stay strong, stay positive. You know. Rebel, while you're in here, they was talking about. Have you heard about? Hold on, wait a minute, guys. I gotta look in the Chris Watts case. Oh, he says he's the prettiest one. Criminal Mindset. Does anyone have an example how to be compassionate towards yourself? I have a bad day. Maybe I should stop and try another day and think. Yeah, Monday. I mean, Mondays kind of suck for everybody, I believe. I really do. I mean, I just think and just lift yourself up. I mean, just my advice, you know, think about something good about yourself. Like, what I'm trying to put in the words. Thank you, Jennifer B. Honey. Um, like what is your best feature about yourself? Like, do you have a big heart? Are you humorous? Or like, you know, like what is the best thing that you yourself love about yourself? You know, you could start with something like that. You know, like I think you are a survivor. You are an amazing woman. You know, Criminal Man. All of you guys are amazing. But I'm just saying, I know Criminal Man, she's kind of, you know, had a rough Monday. So I'm just trying to kind of lift everybody's spirits if I can. All you guys are amazing, you know. I went over, honey, ways to actually be compassionate is kind of like talking to yourself in good ways. Like instead of putting yourself down or being hard on yourself, like be compassionate like you would towards a friend, but be compassionate like you towards yourself. Like, okay, like you tell your friend, okay, I'm here for you. If you need anything, I got your back. Well, turn around and kind of reverse it and say it to yourself. You know what I mean? Like treat yourself as your best friend because you have to deal with them every day, basically. You know what I mean? Like care for yourself. Hey, Demetrius. Exactly. Like just take some time. Deep breaths can help. Writing down in a journal like your thoughts if you're having a bad day. Sometimes it always helps to write things down if you've had a bad day. Or type them up, or just kind of try to get it off your chest if you can. If you've had a bad day, if you want to kind of forget about it, if that makes sense. If you want to forget about it in a way, if you want to write it down and kind of toss it in the trash, or if you want to keep it. Also, when I went over positive affirmations, like say positive things about yourself and put it on sticky notes or on your refrigerator or on your computer screen or something like that, to lift yourself up during the day, to give you positivity, give you, self-compassion, and let yourself know, you're a great person. You've got this no matter what, kind of like what whatever everybody's been through, put little sticky notes up, and lift each other up that way, just to have compassionate towards yourself, you know. And Tattooed Rebel said, and here at Angels and the Freebirds, you all are so beautiful to us, and we love you all. Yes, I do. And I'm so thankful for y'all. If it wasn't, like Rebel said, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. We'd be talking to ourselves. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for the support. It means so much to both of us. Truly. It truly does. Truly, guys. Yeah, hot bubble bath is good. Sometimes Criminal Med said, but I learned that it's not correct. We should serve others. See, I've always been like that too. But I have always, that's why I said I'll put my junk on the back burner just to be there for all you beautiful people. See, I'm exactly like yours, honey. I'm exactly like yours, Criminal Mad. I've always been that way. So I'm gonna like have self-compassion. Like, come on. I don't know what that is. I'm so used to being compassionate towards everybody else. You know what I mean? So like I have to learn it too. So I mean, my advice is just try to be good to yourself. Try to, do little things to make you feel good. Kind of lift your spirits up, lift your positivity up. You know, if being good to other people or being there for other people lifts you up, I think that also helps your compassion. That's just my opinion. I mean, I'm not a doctor and nothing like that, but I think that helps, Yeah, that's just my opinion, guys. Like I think everybody needs to learn, needs to learn it. That's why you don't hear a lot of self compassion. I'm sure it's been around for forever, but you hear more of be compassionate than self compassion. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is kind of like a learning thing. Like, this is something that we could all learn, Calgon, take me away. That's what Miss Pat said. Aw, Criminal Mad. Wow. Jennifer B., I swear, we say the same exact things. I swear, our minds are the same thing. I say, wow, Criminal Mad, and Jennifer B's pops up the same thing. I'm telling you, girl, great minds think alike. The other day we was talking about ghost devils and digger ducks, alpacas, how they were doing. And then I just said, wow, and your comment just popped up. Like, what in the world, girl? What in the world? I'm telling you. Like, what in the world? Like, as in the Jinx, you owe me a coat type stuff. $2 and nothing else. Arch, I can't even pronounce that. Chicago Arch Diocese. I'm not good at pronouncing real good words, guys. I try, but well, we must be Jennifer B. Honey. Must be. Because I swear, every time that you say somewhere, every time that I say something, it's like we're saying it the same exact time, certain times. I swear it was just the other day you were saying the same thing. And then we was just saying the same thing. I swear. Must be. And you're in which state are you in, Jennifer, honey? Utah? Is that which state you're in? And I'm all the way here in Bristol, Virginia / Tennessee. Pretty far away, I do believe, honey. Pretty far away, I think. Pretty far away. Sharon said, you could have made a wonderful nun, Criminal Mad. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming in here. Like, it truly means a lot. It truly does. Yeah, make sure you guys let people know about our channel. Yeah, that's exactly right. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly right. From many, many, many miles away, honey. And it's 12:15 a.m. my time. It's probably like what, like, we'll say, I'm just guessing, like 10 p.m., 9 p.m. your time, 8 p.m., somewhere around in through there. You're like are you hours behind or ahead? I think you're behind me. I love you too, Evie, honey. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. 10:16. Okay, so you're 2 hours behind me. Yeah, I was thinking like 10. I mean, I'm not real good on these time zones, guys. I get confused. But I figured, okay, she's Utah and I'm Tennessee down here. I'm Eastern. So she's got to be either behind me or, yeah, Eastern's on the far end. So I don't think nobody's in front of me unless you're overseas. But in the United States, I think Eastern's it on where I'm at. So I don't think anybody's in front of me unless you're overseas. So yeah, anybody else would be behind me in Rebel. Which state are you at, Miss Pat? I can't remember. Oh, Miss Pat's in Texas. I see. For the longest time, I thought Texas was on the same time zone as us, but I was wrong. I didn't know. I was thinking they were, but I was wrong. You're not in Dallas, Texas, are you? Are you in a small town or a big town, Miss Pat? Criminal Med said, I have a husband of 50 years, 2 married sons, and 5 beautiful grandchildren. It was right thing to do for me. Exactly. See, that's positivity right there, sweetheart. Absolutely. That's just happy. That's just happy times. Sharon's in Washington State, so you're right there close to um Paper Cut, I believe, or right close, similar to her. And then you're in Fort Worth. Is that close to the Army base or the Air Force base or some kind of military base, Miss Pat? I think I've heard Fort Worth. I think it's military, some kind of military base, I think. I might be wrong, but I think so. Because my brother graduated from oh gosh, I don't know what it's called. It's in Texas. It's in the Air Force, and it's a big old thing. It's like kind of like a rock thing. I don't know what it's called. It's in Texas. Oh gosh. It's it's Air Force, but it's starts with an A, I think. It's a big old, it's like a rock. It's not a rock, but it's Hello Midnight Nurse. I don't know what it's called. Gosh. Oh Lord. He graduated from that. Um wow. Yeah, my brother graduated from the Air Force Base in Texas, and I can't remember the stinking name. Oh gosh, Jonah, I can't remember. I think it starts with an A. Hold on, guys, I have to pull up my stinking pictures. Lord have mercy, I'm telling you. Give me just a minute. I swear, I'm losing my dagburn mind. That's probably what it's called, but it's close to the. Oh gosh. It's some kind of like monument or something that's really popular. It's in Texas. I've got a brain for it and I can't remember what it's called. It's some kind of, I don't know. I think they got a picture of it. Hold on now. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull up let me see. Give me just a second, guys. Maybe there's a picture. Hold on a minute. Maybe of my brother and my mom. Well, the Alamo, yes. You hit the nail on the head. Yes, ma'am. You was exactly, yeah, I knew it started with A. I couldn't remember what it was. You got it, sister. I was trying to pull up the picture to show you guys. I can find it. Wherever it's at. Well, my brother graduating from the Air Force. They're standing underneath it or close to it or something. Yeah, the Alamo. That Alamo. See, I can't even say it. I'm telling you. Oh, hammers! I swear. Let me see. Maybe he's got a picture of it. Do nuns have to know calculus? Honey, I don't know. That would be hard. Yeah, I know he has a picture of it. If I can find it. Yeah, it's called the Alamo. What I'll get it right here in a minute. Let's see. I'm getting close, hopefully. Maybe. No. But yeah, he's been in the Air Force for since he graduated high school, and he's now 37, and he's still in the Air Force. He's actually stationed in. Oh gosh, he did live in New Mexico. He's been kind of everywhere. He's been in Utah. He's been in Washington D.C. He's been in Virginia Beach. He's been in. He was stationed in Afghanistan. He's been in, I think, Japan or Vietnam or Korea or one of them overseas. He's been a little bit everywhere. And now I think they live in, oh gosh, I can't remember. I can't remember where they moved to. Well, I know he had a picture, but good luck trying to find it. Every time you try, yeah, every time that you try to find something you're looking for, you can't never stink and find it. That's how it normally goes. Let's see. Yeah, he's a master staff sergeant or something. He's pretty high up. He's got cadets underneath him. He's not a staff sergeant. He's higher than that. If y'all know anything about Air Force or military, master staff sergeant. I think that's what it is. I think I might be wrong. Well, if I could find the stinking picture, it'd be great. He might have removed it. Lord, it's been forever ago. Martha's Vineyard. Really? Master Sergeant? Really? That's awesome. Well, thank you for his service, Miss Pat. If I could find that stinking picture, it'd be great. But yeah, me and my brother is, he was born October 29th and I was born December 29th. Me and him are 14 months apart. Yep. Well, if I could find, maybe I'm getting close. I guess where he had a picture of the Alamo or whatever it's called. Alamo. That's what I said. It's like I guess it's like a rock thing. It's really cool. But I didn't get to go. But my mama went, and it was really pretty cool. If I could find it, or like I said, it's been years and years and years and years ago. So trying to find it, it's yeah, like a needle in a haystack type thing. So you know how that goes. I don't know, but anyway. Yeah, he was stationed at the he was stationed at Utah, yes, and the Air Force Base at Utah. I have no idea, so I guess that's what you're talking about, Jennifer. He was stationed in Utah, then he was stationed in Virginia Beach, right on the beach. I don't know, and then New Mexico. And every time he's stationed, I think he lives on or right beside or near the base or something like that. I'm not. And then now he lives in, I'll just pull up his name. They now live in, it doesn't say. But they did live in Alamogordo, New Mexico, if anybody's familiar with that, the Air Force Base there. I don't know. Yeah, I've seen pictures. Like I said, I was trying to find the pictures. I just think it's cool. But it was a really pretty, and then it was like a little building. So yeah, what you're talking about, Miss Pat, it was some, yeah, it was a little itty bitty place, but it was really pretty. But they said it was like a monument, like it's been there forever, you know. They use it as a post office because of tourist vandalism. They have security guards and advisors. Oh, okay. Like I said, I've never been to Texas. I know that my brother was stationed there. So I just think it's really cool. But yeah, I'm getting ready to jump off here, guys, because I have to get up early in the morning for these little munchkins because they have the summer school. My first crush was Danny Brown, and he became a priest. I used to go play ball with him just to be around him. Oh, how sweet, Sharon. How sweet. But hopefully, this information that I pulled up will help you guys. Like I said, you know, you don't hear a lot of self compassion. You hear more about being compassionate, like being a compassionate person. You don't hear a whole lot, which it's probably been around forever, I'm sure, but you don't hear a whole lot about self compassionate. So I was just bringing awareness to that and encouragement and motivation. So hopefully people can start learning to it's kind of like loving yourself in a way, but it's actually being compassionate to yourself as in a way you being compassionate to others. If that makes any more sense, trying to explain it in my words, you know, as you would be compassionate to somebody, try to be compassionate that way towards yourself if you can. Like I said, I know everybody's their own worst critics, but just try. A little bit goes a long way. A little bit of kindness towards yourself and to other people goes a long way, guys. Well, thank you, Jennifer, honey. I love each and every one of you beautiful people. Thank you guys so much for being in here. Truly, it means so much to me. It truly does. Now, Rebel goes live tomorrow. Rebel, if you're still in here, can you tell them what time you go live? I think it's at 8:30. I might be wrong. But if he's still in here, and tomorrow night he talks about our veterans, because I think he said something last night or yesterday that he was going to talk about our veterans tomorrow night. I don't know 100% sure if I'm going to go live or not. I'm just going to play it by ear. But I know that he's going to go live because he was talking about going live Tuesday to talk about our veterans, a disabled veteran. That's going to be real good, guys. Real good. Do you know what time yet, babe? Is it going to be 8:39, something like that? Just to let them know. Yeah, y'all just go in there. He's going to set 8:30. Okay. Tattooed Rebel goes live tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and he talks about a disabled veteran. So tomorrow night is Veterans Night and Military Night on Tattooed Rebel stream. So y'all go over there and show him some support and love. And of course, it's for our veterans. So definitely go over there and definitely show some support and love to all our veterans in the military and this disabled veteran. But thank you guys so much. Y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. Like I said, we might be small in numbers, but we're mighty in the positivity and the encouragement and the motivation and the awareness and the support. We got this, guys. So just let people know about our channel. And thank you guys so much for all the support and love. Y'all have a wonderful night. And I will see, if I don't go live tomorrow night, I will see you guys on Rebels tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And I love you guys. Virtual hugs. Y'all. And he said, and don't miss Wednesday's show. Same time, same channel. It will be worth it. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. You don't want to miss it, is what he said. That's what he said. Here, I'll just put it up on screen because he's screaming at me. Read the last. Read the last. There we go. Hey, Hindsight 2020 love. Good to see you, darling. I'm getting ready to jump off here, so hopefully you'll have to watch, or have you already been in here? I don't think so. But he said, and don't miss Wednesday's show. Same time, same channel. It'll be worth it. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. You don't want to miss it. This is what Rebel said. So, yeah. But I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. And remember, lift each other up. Be there for one another and support one another. And just try your very best to be compassionate to yourself. Okay? Be compassionate to yourself, guys. That's what it's all about. Just lifting each other up as well. Okay? I love you guys. Love y'all. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys soon, okay? Y'all have a wonderful night. Love y'all. Peace.